Aloha and welcome to The Art of Life. I'm your host, Willow Chang Alion. Our show airs every Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. and we're filming here in the wonderful heart of Honolulu, downtown at the Pioneer Plaza. It is the second week of Friday of 2014 and I am thrilled and honored to have a wonderful guest with us today, Ms. Mira Savara of Mira Savara Events. Aloha!
Hello,
Namaste!
Hello. Namaste!
So in true journalistic integrity, I always like to let you know that 9 times out of 10 I know my guests. That's the beauty of living in Hawaii and also having an artistic pursuit. We find each other pretty early in the game. And that can be said of Miss Mira. We've known each other for a very long time in different capacities, and I'm thrilled, as I said, to have her here today. So let me tell you a little bit about Mira. Mira has lived in Hawaii. She's going to give you the details, and she's really been essential with some other individuals you'll learn about within the Indian, or as we know, the Desi. Those are people of Indian descent living outside of India. So she's been a backbone of the Indian community, providing events that are beautiful, always cultural, with integrity, colorful, and family friendly. So welcome, Mira.
Thank you, Willow.
Let our viewers know a little bit about you. You have a story that's similar to a lot of people in Hawaii, which is you moved to Hawaii and made Hawaii your home. How long have you been in the islands?
Well, we've been in the island for 26 years now.
I think she's Kama'aina, my friend.
Definitely. So my husband came here for a project, actually, as a consultant.
Okay.
And we were supposed to be here only for a year. But you know how they say, Hawaii chooses you.
I love that.
You don't choose Hawaii. We fell in love with Hawaii and we didn't want to leave. And 26 years later, we are still here.
That is fantastic. I know my mom had a similar experience. She came on a vacation and she literally never went back. She called up her roommates in New York City and said, yeah, you can keep my stuff, I'm staying. So yes, Hawaii does choose us.
Yes.
Now in this time that you've been here, you've worn a lot of hats, or we could say a lot of bangles, a lot of bindi, a lot of tika. You have planned a lot of events. Some of them that our viewers might be familiar with was the Bollywood Nights at Pipeline Cafe, which I think many people would agree kind of single-handedly helped establish Bollywood parties, dance parties on the island. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when we moved to the islands, you know, we found that the Indian community was really small, and I wanted to keep the culture alive for my family, and I wanted to be part of things. So over the years, we did various things, and then the Bollywood Nights that you're talking about, that happened because my husband and I, we love to dance. We grew up with this culture that every celebration, there's music and there's dancing. And there was really no club here that was doing Bollywood music, and we wanted to dance to Bollywood music as well as Western music. So we approached this, the owners of Pipeline Cafe, and we asked them if we could host a dance party there. And it was such a success. Everybody just loved it. I was really fortunate at that time to also meet people like you and to meet Taharba, you know, the DJ. He was amazing. And then Greg Howell. So it was just a bunch of our friends who really got together, and we decided that we're going to do something about Bollywood dancing in Hawaii. And everybody came forward and they said they'll help in some way. You agreed to perform, and you had such a wide knowledge of dance, of all kinds of international dance. And when I requested you to do Bollywood for us, you said, right on, I'll make a costume. I'll learn a few dances. You already had a background in Indian dance at that point, and you had also joined our classes with Jyoti Raut for the Odyssey, and I could see you can do anything. And people were absolutely mesmerized by your dance.
You know, I just think people were mesmerized by that event. There's some things that are always consistent. Cultural sensitivity, obviously. Attention to detail. We're both Tauruses, so we're beauty addicts. Always beautiful events that you put together. Exceptional lighting. That's the thing that I always liked, is that you know how to create an event and you're very sensitive to the understanding that lighting enhances the mood, or if, in many cases, creates the mood. So the photos always looked beautiful as a result because the lighting was very good. The music selection, you know, Indian music, not just music that kind of sounds Indian, but actual Indian music. Those are the kinds of details I think people enjoyed. And if my memory serves me, there was easily 1,500, 2,000 people And your parties were long. I mean, I think they started at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and they would go until 11, 12 o'clock at night. That's a long time. It's a really long time. There was food,
Yes.
mendi,
Yes.
vending, all kinds of things. So a really complete experience. I think that that's what hits the nail on the head. Some people think it's just enough to have the music, but you always have a vision that's inclusive, not only with what's being offered, but with the team that you create. Now, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine because you also were very instrumental in assisting or co-producing fashion shows with Milan, also in conjunction with Mrs. Wadamo, events at KCC, I believe One Talk Club. So these are all various Southeast Asian groups that feature cultural events, and annually there would be fashion shows. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's how I remember meeting you.
Yeah, that's how we met. Well, you know, when I met Mrs. Wadamo, I was really inspired by her because she was just holding the torch for India, you know, and keeping everything alive and
Absolutely.
bringing in all the beautiful performers and, you know, the artifacts and the cultural experience. So KCC used to have this annual India night, and she asked me to help her with that because we used to have the full Indian cultural experience. We wanted the food, the clothes, the music. So we used to bring a bit of everything. And KCC used to also have their own international day that went along with this celebration.
Carl Hefner, yes.
Carl Hefner, he was amazing. So everybody actually gave their personal time for this. Everybody got involved, and it was beautiful because Mrs. Wadamo has so much things that she would let us use.
True.
She has such a collection of items, and that made it so spectacular and so beautiful. There were things that you would never see on this island otherwise.
It's true, and I think to give our viewers a point of reference, you have to remember this is in the 90s.
Yes.
Remember the 90s? So in an era before the internet, before Google, YouTube, Amazon, and what have you, and paired with being on an island, this is really about people out of necessity having to pool together resources. There's no guarantee being on an island or being small that that's going to happen, but thank God that it has. And I think people tend to forget that there were challenges placed just by geography and the time constraints, the limits. So it was wonderful. Like you said, we would see clothing and have access to information and resources that people probably take for granted these days.
Yeah, now it's much easier. You can order everything on the internet. But
you know, comparative shopping and all those things. So here we have, we're establishing here fashion shows. We've got Bollywood nights. Now, a lot of people ask me to this day, they say, hey man, what happened to Bollywood nights? We're so overdue. And they actually keep track. They'll say, gosh, there hasn't been a party since, 2011. And people always ask me what happened to Bollywood nights. And I think the reason why there hasn't been a Bollywood nights is because now you have a new venture and a new set of projects. Chime the sitar. It's the Indian wedding. So Mira, please tell us about not only the Indian wedding, but the fact that these are often destination weddings, which is, I think, something that Hawaii really needs to invest more time and energy and resources into, because it's a beautiful thing for all the right reasons.
Yes, Indian weddings have become so popular in Hawaii now. I was so fortunate that I was just there at the right time, at the right place, because for me, I started this just because I wanted to preserve my Indian culture, and I wanted to mentor the youngsters who want to learn and make it a very enjoyable event. I didn't plan to be in the wedding planning business at all.
But it happened.
But it happened. I mean, I have my degree in business economics. Yes, I did want to be something in management, something with marketing, but everything was put on the back burner because, I got so involved with my family and with my life. But I always wanted to keep the culture alive, so I was always doing, like you said, the Bollywood. I was always involved with Mrs. Varumal or with the KCC or with Lotus, with the Indian cultural things, and then with the Art Academy and now the museum, and so all these things were happening. And one fine day, I got this call from somebody, because the Bollywood nights, like you said, were very well attended.
Yeah.
And we had one which was a fundraiser, which we had over 2,500 people show up. So it was completely so well liked by people that it did get a lot of recognition, and we got some really good photographs that were taken by some amazing photographers like Joe Marquez. He was the champion in getting our photographs out. And so these pictures, and then I also got a call from the TV station. They wanted to talk about the Bollywood nights and some of the other Indian events that we were doing. So that got some exposure, and because of that, a groom from New York, he called me.
My goodness.
And it was just a surprise call one day from him, and he had found my information that I was doing the Indian theme parties and Indian theme events. So he had planned a wedding in Maui, which was going to be a totally Western style wedding because he was marrying a Korean girl, and the bride was Korean, and so they didn't plan on any Indian elements because they couldn't find anything in Hawaii. And then when his relatives were coming here, they wanted to add some Indian elements. And you were involved with that wedding
I
too.
remember,
If you
it was on the
remember, you
beach,
helped
so
me
beautiful.
out. Yes.
Yes.
You came and you performed for us. So I just flew to Maui to help him out, and we took, and all my friends helped me out again.
Yeah.
You came and performed, and I had another friend who came and did the decor for us, and my husband actually went along and did some stuff with me. So, but it came out so beautiful, and even the henna artist I had the first henna artist that when I couldn't find anybody when I came here, I found that people who were art school graduates, she was an Desi dancer and she was willing to learn henna. So she practiced and became the henna artist, an art school graduate. So that wedding got done in Maui, and then I got a call from another girl. She was an Indonesian girl. She was marrying into the Indian culture, and a Punjabi boy, in fact, and she felt that they couldn't do it on their own because they had no idea about, they were going to be the host because the bride's family is normally the host for the wedding.
Right.
And I managed, and I helped her, and that I got so attached to the bride. She was like the daughter I never had. And
now I know you have many daughters.
I have many daughters.
You do.
I just love my brides. And her wedding came out so beautiful. It got into the magazines, the newspapers, and then I got a call from a journalist who wanted to cover this weddings trend of Indian weddings in Hawaii. And that's how the whole thing started. People started calling me from that article that, can you help us,
It is written. It was literally written. So there's something I think people might find of interest. I think when people hear Indian weddings, they might think of two things. They might think either the people getting married are Indian or perhaps Hindu, or people want to have the styling or the design elements, the aesthetics of what would be perceived as Indian design. But I find that you found a way of marrying the two. So let's give people an idea of the wealth. You mentioned Punjabi, because some people don't know. There's going to be different elements with a Punjabi wedding, with a Sikh wedding, with a Hindu wedding, with people, when you're dealing with two different cultural backgrounds, like you mentioned Indonesia, but clearly when sometimes you have people from Canada or from New York or from Hawaii, so there's also a nice way to overlap various cultures. How do you navigate all these variations? Because I think someone who wouldn't be sensitive to that would just have one set of decor and then just try to shoehorn it with every client. You're creating a unique, special, individual event for every single wedding. I have never seen the same thing twice with your events.
No, this is something that's very important to me. I take it very seriously. If somebody books me for a wedding and they are trusting me with their wedding, which is such an important day in their lives, I'm going to go all out to make it very authentic. And these are people who seek me out, who want a very authentic, very well, choreographed, very well conducted wedding. And I do my level best to do that.
Right.
And definitely, like you said, we have India is such a big, vast country with so many cultures, and everybody has special things that belong to that particular state, to the particular, even to the family traditions. So we cannot deviate from that. In Indian weddings, there's really no room for error. If you're going to make it authentic and you want to make it traditional, they really want it to be so perfect because they believe in those religious things. They really believe in those customs. They don't want to do it wrong. So we work very hard on that. And then plus, we talk to the bride, and we always want to talk to the bride and the groom and what is their vision, what do they want the wedding to be like, and what do they want to, at the end of this thing, what do they want their friends and relatives to go back with. And that is, for me, so important, that I want every wedding to be such a wedding that when they leave, they say this was the best wedding we ever came to, because it's totally tailor-made for them.
Yes.
It's not going to be like any other wedding. It's going to be a wedding that they want, what they dreamed of, and how they want people to leave with the feeling.
Ooh, what a feeling. I love that. Now, I want you to think about that. If you've been married, maybe been married many times, maybe you've been a guest, think about the weddings that you have attended or been a part of and what's memorable to you. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Don't leave because we've got some visuals coming up that you do not want to miss. This is The Art of Life. Our guest is Mira Savara and my name is Willow Chang Alion.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
And we're back. Here we are at The Art of Life, filming at Pioneer Plaza. Our guest is Mira Savara of the eponymous Mira Savara Events. She produces everything from Bollywood nights, but most recently she has been monikered the Queen of Indian Weddings in Hawaii, and she would never say that herself. Of course, I'm saying that about her. Mira has something in common with all of our guests, is they're incredibly driven, creative, but also exceedingly humble. So, Mira, thank you for joining us today. If you're just joining us, we were going to discuss some of the elements that can be found in an Indian wedding. And I have to admit that prior to working with you with some of these Indian weddings, the only way I was exposed to Indian weddings was through Bollywood movies, because there seems to have been a time when every movie would include a wedding in, well, half the time they're romance stories. And what's more romantic than a wedding? And what an easier way to involve the whole cast of the film and debut music for movies and weddings than having a wedding in the movie. So that was my first foray into seeing an Indian wedding before seeing it in person. I was wondering, I remember it once, but sometimes there's a private ceremony and then there's the, what we would say, the reception. But this is something I always think of with the Indian weddings. Can you explain what this type of gesture would be? I think you know, right? She's laughing. We're playing charades. It involves fire.
It's, you know, we, I don't know if you're talking about when we take the blessings from the fire gods.
Yes.
That we always take the blessing and then we kind of bring it to us, you know, that give us the joy and the power to enjoy that. That after we have done a prayer, we normally offer a light and we try to reach the gods. We try to welcome them into the prayer and get their blessings. And if we feel that we've invoked the gods and they are there with us, then we take the blessing from that.
I absolutely love that. I do. We have, okay, that was a pretty bad transition. Forgive me, but we're on live television here. One of the things that's also fascinating about Indian weddings is that it's not simply one day. So for our viewers out there, Indian weddings are usually this huge extravaganza. It's not everything for just one day. It often is several days. Can you tell us a little bit about how long an average wedding would be? It's more than one day.
Yeah, minimum would be at least a 3-day event because...
a minimum is 3 days. Did you hear that? My mom got off easy. We had 1 day.
Yeah, it would be a minimum 3-day event because we start normally with the pre-wedding events.
Right.
And everything starts with the prayers. You know, we always invite the gods, and in any different states, different cultures, they will have a Ganesh Puja or a Lakshmi Puja or, you know, Shiva Puja, whatever they want to start with.
So for those of you Ganesh is the elephant-headed guy. He removes the obstacles. He's going to make sure it's smooth. Lakshmi, abundance, wealth, all of those good things. You can never have enough of that. Shiva, creation and destruction. Hopefully, erring on the creative side than the destructive side when you're going into a wedding. Sorry.
Yeah, Shivites, they were so.
Yeah.
Anybody who has their family gods and what they believe in, their particular ones, they will start with that. And then we have so many different things that we do, which we call the purifications of the bride and groom, because a lot of our culture believes that we are actually trying to invoke the qualities of the gods in the bride and the groom.
Right.
And that's why we're doing all the little things that once when they go to the marriage, they go into the mandap to get married, they have the qualities that, the Vishnu and Lakshmi and all these qualities in them. So we have purifications, and then we of course have the celebration. It's always all about celebration.
Right.
We have the henna ceremony, the mehndi, and then we'll have all the family will be performing, and then we have some different relatives in the family will host things in their house for you. So a lot of the grandparents have parts to play, the uncles and aunties have a part to play. Everybody wants to host some things in their house. So counting all those little ceremonies, and before any big ceremony there's small little ceremonies. The groom making ceremony, the bride making ceremony. And then when the mandap is being set up, there's special prayers, special things that have to be done before the mandap gets set up.
Right.
Before we leave the house, we have to do certain things. So everything, that's planned for the wedding, it has everything to do with joy and love and protection and blessings and abundance and getting the family together,
Right.
involving everybody. So because of that, the first day will be definitely the prayers, the second day will be more like a welcome party and the henna ceremony for the bride, and then the yellowing ceremony, the haldi in different parts of the state, it's different things like that. And then will come the big day of the wedding, and then definitely the reception, the celebration.
Now, for those of you who are paying attention, 3 to 5, possibly 7 days, you have family coming in from everywhere. Everybody's involved. Everybody has an opinion. You want to make sure that you're mindful of all of the various practices. Mira, I think this is why you need a wedding planner. This is exactly why you need someone who's organized to assist with all of these moving parts, because I think it would drive a mere mortal crazy. You're used to it. You've done a lot of these weddings, and you're very, very good at it. I have to confess, when I went to your Facebook page to pull a picture for our show that we're going to have, I had no idea that you had your business in background, and it completely made sense. When I saw that, I thought, of course. Of course. I knew it wasn't just only your abundant creativity. I thought, she's got a mind for business and for detail, and now I know your secret. It's for the world to know. Let's see some of these images, because I think this will help. Pictures worth 1,000 words, as they say. My goodness, look at this. Mira,
yes.
Please tell us a little bit about this image.
This was a very beautiful wedding that we did in Maui. This is a fabulous mandap that was created by Stephen Boyle Design, and the bride just loved purple. She loved purple, and so those were the colors, and the location was amazing. It was on the ocean, and you could just see all the guests could enjoy that, and it was just a very happy occasion.
I mean, it is pretty as
Yes.
a picture, and the things that I'm seeing, because these images are new to me, my goodness, I'm overwhelmed at how many flowers are on top of that. And then it's like a perfect frame. You see those fluffy white clouds right in the center, which are going to be behind the bride and the groom.
Yes.
It just doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, it's like being in heaven. I mean, Hawaii truly is paradise. When my brides and grooms call me and I hear that they're planning a wedding in Hawaii, the first thing that I tell them, I said, it truly is paradise.
It is.
And nobody has been disappointed. Every wedding we have done, they've not wanted to leave. They've arrived here, they said, oh my God, we are in paradise.
And I'll tell you, the artist in us will understand this. For photographers, videographers, people like that. Our lighting here in Hawaii is very unique. So if you understand, why did Van Gogh travel the way he did to go to the south of France, or even when you had people going to far-off lands to go to Gauguin, would go to Tahiti, there's this idea that you're chasing the light, because the quality of the light is different. When you saw that previous image, Hawaii has such a beautiful light for photography, for filming. The colors are saturated, and the colors are saturated in an Indian wedding, and yet it also can be very forgiving to the skin tones. So as a makeup artist and we've done fashion things, we understand the importance of that. These are just all of the added bonuses of having an event here in Hawaii. It's not just our warm weather that allows us to wear these beautiful clothes and not be bundled up. The dancers can move without feeling stiff or cold. Your guests can wear what they want to without having to lug a coat. It's all of these elements. It's the weather, it's the birds, it's the humidity, the colors, the light. My goodness. Okay,
Hawaii has something very unique that people are looking for, and that's the reason I got into this wedding planning business, and I agreed to go into events when my family encouraged me a lot. My sons and my husband, they were like, say, Mom, we've always wanted to be a planner because I've always been organizing everybody's weddings and parties.
And she has no daughters, and now she has many daughters. I think that's the motivation. Let's see another image because these are so beautiful. Look at this. It looks like it's right out of a movie.
Yes, this is right out of Bollywood. This bride was amazing, and her bridesmaids. This was such a unique picture we captured. You know, Graham Chappell, he's an amazing photographer, and this was his vision that he had these beautiful girls on the beach and running and with the bride, and this image has captured everybody's imagination. Everybody just loves it. It was really difficult for him to get this shot because, you know, the girls had to run and he had to get them. But
if you've ever tried to run in a lenga or a sari, you're going to know, one, it's not very easy. If you've ever photographed so many people in a party, that is also a challenge to get everybody smiling and looking happy with their eyes open. I want our viewers to know, you might be surprised. You think, my goodness, the bride is wearing red. Aha! In Indian weddings, just like in Chinese weddings, red is a joyous, happy color. It's an auspicious color. And I love seeing these red bridal wear. It's just so festive and pretty. Let's see another image, shall we? Look at that.
Oh, this was another beautiful wedding we did on the North Shore. It was such a joyful affair because it was almost like the whole village, world village, came to marry off this, couple. We had people from all over the world, very intimate, very beautiful wedding. They wanted it to be like it was in their own home, like a village and environment. Everybody's very close to them, and simple but colorful, and we totally got that.
The image, I mean, again, HVB, you'll hear me say this on every single episode. This is amazing. I mean, I think that the power of this image alone, it is infused with joy, with the celebration, with the happiness, and you see it on everybody's face, and it's just exquisite.
And this was a part where the going away of the bride after the whole, the wedding ceremony is over.
Right.
We have what we call the bidai, which is the going away of the bride to the groom's house, and she gets escorted by her family, and then the boy's family, the bridegroom's family receives her, and she's actually tossing the rice into the air in this particular picture.
That's great.
The start of the vidai ceremony.
Can you tell us a little bit about the clothing that the gentleman has on? Some of people might remember those referred to as Nehru jackets in the 60s, and he has some headwear. Is the costuming in this photo reflective of a certain area or belief system, a certain village or group, or is it just their personal choice?
No, it was just his personal choice. You know, they just love colorful things, but they in the villages they do wear this headscarf and then the kurta effect. It was just a personal. It was not really particular to any really region.
I absolutely love that. We're going to squeeze in one more image before we take a quick break. But let's see. Oh, my goodness.
This bride was incredible. She was gorgeous. I don't know how many comments. They've been on Maharani weddings. They've been in magazines. This wedding got the attention of so many people. And she was the sweetest, adorable bride. This was Sikh wedding.
You see this? And she's going to give Aishwarya Rai a run for her money. My goodness, she's ready to be in a movie.
And she's adorable. I mean, we keep in touch. Even just on my New Year's Eve, I got a few cards, and so many people saw her on Maharani weddings, and they've commented that she was one of the most lovely ones that they noticed.
Just to let you know, Maharani Weddings, this is a website that features Indian weddings all over the world, and Mira has been featured many times on Maharani. We've got to give a shout out to Hawaii because that is, such an honor and a well-deserved one. We're going to leave you with that thought. We're going to take a little break. You can queue up Maharani Weddings in your web browser, but don't go away because we have many more images for you to enjoy here on The Art of Life.
We want to thank our underwriters. Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric on Maui and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is the Senior Executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company.
The High-Tech Development Corporation, the state's leading technology agency, attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism.
Castle and Cook Hawaii, with a time-honored legacy that spans more than 160 years and revolves around its mission of investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state.
Hawaii Gas, formerly the Gas Company, a proponent of the Liquefied Natural Gas Initiative, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future.
Collateral Analytics, a Hawaii-based tech company empowering the real estate industry with greater and faster access to the tools and data they need to make better informed property investment decisions.
I'm Nicole Horry. Thanks so much for joining us on Think Tech.
I'm Maria Kashem. See you next time.
Aloha, and hopefully you've stayed with us. If you have, you would know that this is The Art of Life. Our guest today is Mira Savara of Mira Savara Events, and we are currently discussing her latest set of projects which involve the art of the Indian wedding right here in the heart of Honolulu. Welcome, Mira. Now, we have a lot of beautiful images, and we want to make sure that people can understand and grasp the wealth and the diversity and really the depth of what you bring as a wedding planner. So let's cut away and see another one of these images. Here we have iconic diamond head and a whole lot of pink. It was a very famous quote that Diana Vreeland, who was one of the iconic editors of Vogue magazine, she said, "Pink is the navy blue of India." Let's repeat that. Pink is the navy blue of India. It's an amazing thought. And my goodness, look at this image. Please tell us about this, because if I recall, this was a very, very high profile, exquisite, and famous wedding.
Yeah, this was one of the very beautiful weddings we did at the Royal Hawaiian, and they have been such wonderful partners. That hotel has gone over and beyond, to help us with everything from, setups to food, Indian things. So this bride actually is a local girl, Kavita, and, she handpicked this pink color, and she wanted her theme to be pink, and the flowers and the things, everything had to be brought in. And then we had this design company, Yvonne, work on it, and she's so talented. She truly brought it to life. And the ballroom was also spectacular.
Absolutely.
And this whole wedding it took your breath away when, this is just one image, but if you saw the carpet of roses, flowers that led up to this mandap, and the bridesmaids, and, the whole setup was just amazing.
Exquisite. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, also known as the Pink Lady, is one of the oldest hotels. The oldest is the Moana, of course, but the Pink Hotel is very iconic. It's beautiful. It's got a great Spanish Morisco feel. I believe it was founded in 1928. Shirley Temple, as many movie luminaries have come and stayed, and they went through a refreshing of the hotel recently, but managed to retain all of the old world charm and the oriental elements, as some might call it. It's kind of an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful place for any wedding or any event. And I've had many great, joyful opportunities to perform there. It feels special every single time.
Yeah, every wedding we do at the Royal, it's like a dream wedding.
It is. It
you
absolutely
feel like
is.
you're in a dream sequence.
As a performer, I lament that they no longer have consistent entertainment in that ballroom. But every time I'm involved in a wedding, it makes sense to me. So it's a nice trade-off in the sense that this is such an important event for families to have their weddings there, and what a beautiful room it is to have them. So
And we've had your beautiful performances by you there that are iconic. Like people just rave about them.
that I tell you, when you call and you say we have a wedding at the Royal, I bust out the pink Sharpie and I make little flowers and little doodads, and I look forward to that for weeks on end. It's as exciting for me as it probably is for the bride, because it's such a special place. It's such a special place in Hawaii's memory. Every Christmas I go to the Royal Hawaiian and I walk through the lobby like any other tourist, and I take photos,
Yeah,
and
it's
you know,
so
you talk
pretty.
to everybody's in a good mood. It's such a beautiful place. That's the sense of place of old Hawaii that
Yes.
still is, thank God, there. So
Yeah,
what a joy
truly
it is to have something there. Let's see another image. Take our breath away again.
Oh, this is the same wedding, Kavita Jain's wedding. It was so beautiful, Kavita and Tejas, and you have all the bridesmaids there and with them in their green and pink.
It is just fantastic.
It really, truly
And you know,
was.
the thing that I love is that these weddings, they really are multi-generational affairs.
Yes.
You see the littlest of toddlers and the
Yeah.
aunties and the grandmas and everybody. I mean, it's really a very family driven. You know, sometimes I go to weddings, people of my own age, and it's very strange because everyone is between the ages of 30 and 45, and that's it. And maybe the parents are there, and I kind of feel like I'm in a nightclub that happens to be a wedding. It's very strange. I love the Indian weddings because it's really the largest concept of family.
Yeah, it's
You
all
know?
about all ages. Everybody has a part to play. In this particular picture, you know, you can see the brother has to be there, the parents are there, the aunties are there, the
Yeah.
sister of the groom is there. We had to get blessings of everybody before we move forward with the next ritual. So they were all
Fantastic.
invited to the mandap, and then, you know, we proceeded.
I've even had invites that say no children. Now I think I had no
Oh.
children because it was a money issue, but you know, it's not unusual in a so-called Western wedding,
Yes.
and they will say, "Please, no children," and I'm thinking, how terrible.
So that's
know?
why my Bollywood nights, you know, that's why I kept them to be family affairs.
Yeah.
If we don't teach our children the culture, how would they? That's the only reason I got into this business, is to keep the culture alive, because even my brides and grooms who come,
Yeah.
they learn so much. They go away always thanking me for bringing the joy of the culture into their lives and tradition.
True, and I think in addition to the cultural aspect, knowing how to conduct yourself in public amongst other
Yes.
people is really important. You're like, what is this, a parenting show?
Yeah.
But seriously, if you're in a bubble and you're only hanging out with other kids,
Yeah.
you don't know how to interact with adults or other people of different ages, you do probably have some type of social culture shock because your kids don't know how to interact with people. So these are just some things to think about. I can understand, I can see both sides, but you know, that's what the kiddie table's for. I was at the kiddie table for a very long time. I think because I'm also very small in size, they're like, well, we'll just stick you on the kiddie table anyway. And it's like, dude, I'm 20.
Yeah.
Why am I still here? So anyway.
We have a lot of kids at our weddings.
Yeah,
They're welcome.
It's cute. Moving right along, let's see another image. Look at this.
Oh, that's us. That's
How did you
Kalsi and
clear the
Namrita.
beach? That's what I want to know. You don't have like some guy with his metal detector in the back, and amazing.
That's Eugene Kiam. He's such a wonderful photographer. He always captures the most beautiful images.
Very,
and this couple
very
was so
beautiful.
wonderful to work with. They came from New York and they were an absolute joy. Everybody adored them.
You know, I think the men would enjoy weddings more if they wore a turban. You know, a turban festooned with a jewel and a feather. I mean, how can you not feel like the king of your castle when you're walking down the aisle with a turban? That's just fantastic. I love it. Okay, we have a few more images in the mix. Look
Oh,
at
this was the most adorable bride. I mean, all my brides and grooms, honestly, there's not a single one I can say who wasn't amazing
Yeah.
and lovable. This was Deepika. She was the sweetest bride you ever knew, and she's so joyful about everything. She's so thrilled with the henna in this picture. You know, she's just so thrilled with, and every picture of this girl came out beautiful. She was so beautiful inside and out.
Fantastic. And just for our viewers, so you're wondering, why does she have this brown stuff on her hand? That is referred to as mendi. So mendi is a paste made from the henna plant. If you want to see this in person, you can actually go up to Cocoa Head to the botanical gardens. They have a henna tree there. The henna leaves are ground up into a paste. It's used for medicinal purposes as well. Has a very unique fragrance to it. It's cool to the skin and cool to the touch. When it's placed onto the skin in these intricate designs, they will impart a stain, a temporary stain that will last anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks, depending on the quality of your henna, how you cure the henna, the paste, and there's different styles, and you find this all throughout Southeast Asia and the Middle East, and Northern Africa. So henna, the art of mending, is something that is a very global, universal practice, and there's also the belief that the intensity of the color of the dye is a reflection of the intensity of your love, and sometimes the Mendi artist on request will put the groom's name in the henna somewhere on the body, and well, he's got to find his name. Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
It's like an icebreaker. In the good old days, they did that because the brides and grooms never got to meet each other.
Right.
So there's one reason for him to hold your hand and look for his name.
That's
a
one way.
legitimate way to hold the bride's hand.
I love that. That's so cute. Okay, so if you don't have someone's hand to hold at home, you can always hold your own. Hold tight, because we'll be right back. We're taking our third quick break, and we'll finish up with a few more beautiful images with Mira Savara here on The Art of Life.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Aloha and welcome back to The Art of Life. As I mentioned before, this is Mira Savara of Mira Savara Events. She coordinates everything from Bollywood nights and most recently to Indian weddings. From soup to nuts, everything from the Mendi artist, coordinating the flowers, the entertainment, locating the spaces, also bringing in the sacred or the religious elements as well. You had mentioned earlier in our conversation that you have some people you would like to acknowledge who bring in and do the chanting or fire ceremonies and what have you, because it's many people involved. As they say, it takes a village, which is so true for these weddings. Anybody you would like to acknowledge?
No, when I wanted to promote the our culture and preserve the culture on the islands, I love Hawaii because it has everything that we are looking for. With this, the joy and the beauty and the mana and even the flowers and the things that grow here are so perfect for Indian weddings and for our prayers. You can't find so many of the elements in other states. And there were people I really looked up to. I mentioned Mrs. Vadamal, but the Kauai monastery, the Sadhguru who started, Subramanian Swami, he was really instrumental in helping me to understand that I need to be doing these things so people can enjoy them and be part of it.
Yes.
Because when I met him, I was very fortunate that when we visited the monastery one time, that he gave us a private time with each person. And in my private time, when he wanted to ask me a question, he asked me, do you have any questions? And I felt so blessed that I had such a great life and such great family and friends and environment. I really had no searching questions, but I did ask him that how should I get devotion in my kids and my children and in our friends that I felt in India, and because I feel very strongly about our prayers and about the benefits. So, and his answer was so simple. He said, how did you get that joy in your life? And I said, well, because I attended a lot of those things. My grandmother took me, my mother took me.
Yes.
We had so many events at our house like that. And he said, well, that's the answer. You have to do that.
It's a practice.
It's a practice. You have to expose children to it. You have to expose the community to it. And that's the time a few of us, have some dear friends here. We took on that mission that we said, we are going to start doing all these things on a personal level.
Yeah.
And even if there's such limited resources available here, we will try to make it happen.
I love that.
So these were, and now we have such beautiful, the opportunity to bring so many wonderful people from the mainland also, and we have so much talent locally. It's amazing.
And I have to say, because she wouldn't say it herself. Mira really, I mean, my goodness, like I said before, the florist, the other collaborators, Stephen Boyle, the Mendy artist, the makeup artist, the hair people. I mean, you really help. In addition to just this industry, it employs so many people. I don't think people, unless they're entrenched in their own wedding planning, they tend to forget what a tremendous amount of involvement weddings are. Think about that. Think about that. Let the image do the talking. Let's see another picture here, because my God.
Yeah, this was another beautiful, mandap that we made at the Royal Hawaiian at the Coconut Grove. And it, like you said, it took a lot of planning. We have our in-house design company, Zorka Design, that talks to the bride, and we talk to the groom, and we talk to the family, and culturally it has to be right, the direction, the astrologically. It looks like a beautiful image there, but how much went into this was, we had to just place it perfectly. We had to get the right, colors and the heights according to their wishes.
It's very detail oriented.
It was very detail oriented.
We have a few more images. We're just going to quickly kind of plow through these, because again, I want people to see. Look at this.
This was a beautiful. This was again a local wedding, very well known family.
This was the event of 2012.
Yes,
that's all I'm going to say.
Yasmin Dar and Sal Fasi's wedding captured everybody's imagination, and these were the beautiful bridesmaids with the bride. They were absolutely picture perfect.
This was movie quality.
Yes.
I have to admit, I was drooling when I saw the lehenga, and it's encrusted with Swarovski crystals. Oh my goodness! And the amount of costume changes, and everyone had these phenomenal outfits. Ooh, there was no detail.
They were so wonderful to work with. I mean, the whole family was amazing.
Yeah,
the support, the love, the hard work they put in, both the families.
We have another image here. Look at this.
This was a dream sequence.
So I think people may be surprised.
This was Yasmin and Sal's wedding again.
Yes, and a lot of times
made that happen. Mystical sounds.
It's just exquisite. It's like a movie. Okay, we have another image, I do believe.
That's you dancing at the wedding.
There's a little munchkin there. I did not put that picture in the queue, but Mira did. So out of respect to your wishes, we kept it in. But
you've been a big part of my weddings. You brought so much joy and love and color. I mean, people are mesmerized by your beauty and your talent and your costumes and just your energy that you bring.
I'll tell you, there's no higher praise than when somebody says, oh, we recognize the hastas of the mudras, or my daughter takes this type of dance and I could see movements, or oh, this reminded me of Jodha Akbar, or this should be in a movie. I mean, I feel so humbled by that. It's a true joy. I can't deny it. I love it. It's like, okay, thank you. I'm doing something appropriate and something that's recognized and appreciated as their own. So I take that
we are
very
fortunate
humbly.
to have talented people like you. Oh, this was at the Shangri-La. This was.
So for those of you, I used to be a docent or an interpretive guide at Shangri-La. Shangri-La is located on the Gold, right past the Gold Coast. It's on Black Point. This is where heiress Doris Duke created and set up from the ground up her own home. Now, don't get any crazy ideas out there, kiddies, because not every bride gets to have her photos taken at Shangri-La. But my goodness, that is a testament to just beauty. Do you see how long that train is? I think that's a four-stair train. And those are very wide steps, I know, because I've walked down them. Exquisite.
Yeah, and that's Willow.
Speaking of staircase, this is hot off the presses. This is in Maui, and you talk about a movie set. My goodness, this was a dream.
The haiku team, Sylvia. I mean, they were, kudos to them. They were amazing. The setup they made for us, it was fabulous.
And I want people to put this in your mind. You're not only here exclusively in Honolulu. You go to Maui, you go to Kauai, Big Island. So don't feel limited that Mira is here in Honolulu, because, girlfriend, she's got it going on. You've got a thumb in every pie, and you create all these amazing events all throughout the state of Hawaii. Amazing. Do we have any more pictures? That was the last picture. Mira, what we would like to do is we'd love for people to know how they can get in touch with you.
Well, I do have a little blog that if they want to go on that, that's IndianWeddingsInHawaii.com.
IndianWeddingsInHawaii.com. You're also on Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't say that active on Facebook.
Okay, don't go hunting her down on Facebook. Go to IndianWeddingsInHawaii.com. Mira, Savara, you know, something I want to close with, and this has been a theme within the show, this episode as well as throughout The Art of Life, is that you create this continuum, not only a legacy with your culture from India, but then also an inclusiveness, not only extended to your immediate family and to people from India, but I feel like one of your daughters, just as those brides do. You've encouraged me from the get-go, just as Mrs. Wadamal encouraged you. Both of you ladies have enriched Hawaii in so many wonderful ways, and you make us feel welcomed. You encourage us to learn about the culture. You bring so much beauty and joy to the islands, and I just want to thank you for doing that, because I feel like you have the Midas touch. Everything that you have touched has blossomed and has been very beautiful, and I can't wait to see all of the things you have. I know that weddings is not the final chapter. I'm sure there's even something else down the road. We don't know what that is, but you want to keep your eye on Mira Savara, because it's always quality and it's always beautiful.
Oh,
thank you.
Lulu.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Namaste. Please join us again. I would like to have Mira again sometime later in the year, so this is not the last you'll see of her. We hope that you join us next week for The Art of Life, here every Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. You can catch us on the web, and we have some new graphics, as you see, as well as an Art of Life page on Facebook. So please join us there, give us some insights, some feedback, and we hope to see you soon. Aloha, namaste, always a pleasure.